Okay. So, good evening, everyone. We're happy that you're all here. This is really important to Councilwoman Wooten and myself. I remember when we decided to do this, I believe it was 2017, I could be wrong. Putting it around, I know my son was in the hospital having surgery. And I remember he was out of surgery, he was fine. And I asked my sister to go up to the hospital and stay with him so that I could come to the flag raising. Because when you are an elected official, sometimes if you miss events, sometimes it may be seen as you don't support it, right? And I didn't want anyone to talk for me. I never want anyone to talk for me. I always say, as a teacher, I teach middle school, I teach eighth grade, and students are coming out before eighth grade, but they feel comfortable to come out in my class. I teach 52 students, and there are some you can just tell, the things they say, and they feel comfortable to be who they are. I always talk about suicide. Those things scare me because eighth graders are confused anyway, right? And then if they're confused about their sexuality and being accepted, they need to be able to talk to someone. And everyone's so scared that adults are going to turn their child a certain way or if they look at this. I was telling Councilman Wooten earlier, we talk about hygiene. I'm a mother of three boys, and everything is you can't do this or you'll look like a girl. You can't do this or you look like a boy. Like, we've put our children in these boxes that they don't even know how to play sports. They don't know how to do anything without being looked at a certain way. So these flag raisings are important because we want the Orange residents to know that we are an inclusive city. However, we understand that there are some that feel we're not. And we're not here to prove we are. We're here to hear what your concerns are and how we can get better. I was just telling Councilman Wooten, it has to be more than just raising a flag. It has to be things done leading up into the raising, because a lot of it, people feel the way they feel because of ignorance, because they really don't know any better. And they don't want to feel that way. They just don't know how to say it. The first time we did it, and then I'll let you talk, we were raising the flag outside, and I remember people were yelling at us, "You're the devil, you're going to hell." We were like, what? Like, we were outside. We're looking at each other. I'm like, okay, so this is real live hate in your face, people looking just like me, really angry that we're supporting a group. Like, how can you be alive and not be related to someone of the LGBTQ community? How can you be on this earth and not know someone? I'm not here to say who should love who. I want everyone to be happy, and I want to make sure that as an elected official that I'm protecting all my residents. Ma'am. Sorry, I was just, go ahead.
So, as Councilwoman Summers Johnson said, this is something that we do as politicians, but it's something that we do because it's the right thing to do and because we were raised in similar type homes. Like, it doesn't matter what color you are, red, green, purple, if you're a frog, if you're Miss Piggy, whatever you are welcome, or you should be able to love whomever you want to love, and no one should take that from you. We want to make sure that in the city of Orange Township that we make everyone feel welcome and everyone feel wanted here. We put up a Human Rights Commission piece of legislation maybe about 2 years ago. It was voted down, and we talked and we thought this is the right time again now to put it up again. So we put it up, and the first thing, it was at first reading, and I had a council person say, "What is this about?"
Two,
Two,
council people.
like, what is this about? And it doesn't really include anything about LGBTQ. It doesn't. It's for all mankind. So I explained to them, I said, well, some people in our community feel like they've been disenfranchised, and we want people to feel like they are all included. Well, I think when I use the word disenfranchised, I don't know what that stemmed in their minds, because you can tell by their facial expressions. Like, what is this? Like,
I didn't hear that.
I didn't hear that. I don't know people who said anything. So, Councilwoman Summers Johnson and I, we just called each other and laughed after the meeting. So going forward, I said, okay, let's look at Orange and where we are in Orange, and let's go on the Garden State Equality website to see what other cities are doing. A good friend led me to that website. We looked up some interesting stats about various cities in the United States as a whole, and we saw what those cities were doing, such as making sure when you work for a city, your health care includes mom, mom, dad, dad. You're getting the same kind of, do they even call it maternity leave anymore? I don't know what they
They
call it.
do, yeah.
The same leaves.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I pulled from the code the City of Orange Township's, what you call it, employee manual. And I see a lot of she, he, him, her, himself, herself. So I'm thinking to myself, and we were talking on the phone, like, we need to call somebody in to have them come and look at our
Pronouns.
our employee manual, because we need to know what we need to do as far as the pronouns. So we don't know how you should make that document right, because we don't know if it's going to be LGBTQ plus, or if you're gonna list all the pronouns, but we want to be right, and that's what we want the people in Orange to know. We want to be right, um, and we love you as a whole. We love you, and we're not gonna single you out. And you're my family. You're in my family. Um, I would tell you personal. I don't know if I should have asked my daughter something before I got up here and stood. But anyway, we love you. You're in our family. And when I think back when I was a little kid, there was always a couple of teachers who never got married. They never got married, and they lived with a lady, and a man. And when I think back and when I got older, I realized, hey, they were in the LGBTQ community. But I grew up in Greensboro, North Carolina, in the South. So you know that's a place where you don't necessarily come out and tell people who you are. So it was probably hard for them, and I don't want it to be hard for anybody. We have a relationship with Reginald Bledsoe, Reggie, I'll call him, from the county, and I support him. So Jamie and I were talking like, who can we get to speak this year? And we wanted Reggie to speak because he is the person in Essex County that can help us make things right in the city of Orange Township, which is something that we pledge and something that we want to do.
All this month prior to, well, I guess the month of May, I was so jealous. I'm gonna say the word jealous. People don't say they're jealous. I get jealous. If I see another town doing something that Orange can do, like Montclair, like I'm just gonna say, when I saw that flyer and it's like the more you make it comfortable for people, the more I always bring up suicide. That I'm telling you, as a middle school teacher, that is my fear. We have cutters, we have parents that are so religious, which scares me, right? You're so religious that, you would rather lose your child than accept, who they are. And I just can't imagine, you know what I mean? I mean, you might want them to be a certain way, you might want them to live a certain life, but them just not being here, as a result of what you said to them and things like that, it just scares me. As a mother of three boys, all I say to my kids is, if you see someone getting picked on because of this, tell an adult, like, don't let me ever hear that it's you. You know what I mean? So they know, like, if a teacher ever said it, I'm like, you can't be talking about my sons, because we talk about it all the time. And now, because families are just so free with it, now I have to explain it, but I only explain it one time and then we move on, because they have to know it so they don't say those things. But my 10-year-old, he's the one, he just says stuff, but he doesn't mean to be mean, but everyone tells them to shush and don't say that and you shouldn't say that. And I was telling him I'm going to a flag raising, and he's like, for what? And I'm like, I think I said the LG, I was getting ready to say it, and he said, oh, I know the flags. So at least he knows that, you know what I mean? Because again, it's all about tolerance, it's all about patience, and it's all about acceptance. So we're happy that we have anyone here. We learned long ago, we plan it, whoever comes, the word will get out. If this was something negative, if this was something scandalous, what the mayor say, if he was caught walking down Main Street drinking something, it'd be all over, so we choose what's important for us. But yet, everyone will get in a meeting, and every time we say we're gonna do it, everyone says, invite us to everything. We invite everyone. We invite the whole council. We invite everyone to everything. But people choose to come to what they want to come to, and we don't really care. But Councilwoman Wooten and Summers Johnson, we're going to be here because we can't wait. So the LGBTQ community in Orange, I was telling Councilwoman Wooten, like, I don't know how to start something up, but we need to start. How they say the best way to start is to start. So that we're not just doing flag raisings because there's nothing for the youth. So if we have a population of youth in the city of Orange that are dealing with this and this peer pressure and stuff like that, right now I don't have anyone to call. I would have to, right, I would have to leave outside of Orange. I don't know if the school system has, I don't know if my kids go to school in Orange. So we need numbers so that we can not have to wait. So I know Reggie will give us a Rolodex of who we can call, but we need to do something so it's not just June. Oh, let's raise this. As these holidays and important things come up, I think we need to educate up until so that it becomes normal.
Okay, so with all that being said, we wanted to kind of do a flag raising, but we wanted to kind of talk to you too to tell you where we stand as far as the LGBTQ plus community. And that's why we thought it not robbery to have Reggie here because he is somebody that's in the community. He is somebody that fights the fight every day. I can't even imagine some of the things that he hears and some of the fights that he has to have. I was with the mayor of Milburn last night, and she spoke so highly of him. I was like, "Oh, he's coming tomorrow to speak at our flag raising." She was like, "Oh, if I didn't have so and so to do, I would come." And is when you hear people say such nice, gratifying things about people, and they don't really have to say them because he's not in the room. He is someone that I met and we clicked right off. He is someone that's down to earth. He is the same all the time. Every time you meet him, he's never too busy or never talking to someone, and he doesn't want to talk to you. That's not Reggie. So without further ado, I'd like to bring to you the director of LGBTQ plus for the county of Essex, under the leadership of I don't gotta say Joe. so,
Yeah.
Thank you. Um, I'm just really, really happy to be here. Um, and I'm just gonna put that there as my note. Um, but I'm actually happy and thrilled to be in a space that is a safe space for LGBTQ people. And as always, I send greetings on behalf of our county executive, who is setting the tone, who is leading by example, and actually investing his political capital and his government entity behind supporting the LGBTQ community. And that's so important. Um, the office that I sit in is actually one of two in this state. We weren't the first, but I always say we are the best. We literally have outperformed our partners in union, and we're literally in conversations with the county of Bergen to help them mold to create a similar office there. And I just want to take this moment to thank my colleague, Tamara Chambers from the Essex County Prosecutor's Office for being here.
That's a rock star.
Who actually, yes,
That's a rock star.
who is charged with keeping us safe on an everyday basis. So thank you so much for being here. To Mayor Warren, who's always been a brother and partner and supporter of the LGBTQ community. It does my heart good to know that we have him leading this township at the right time when it's needed. And definitely having two partners on the legislative branch, on the council, Councilwoman Wooten and Councilwoman Summers Johnson. And I see the council president just walked in, Councilwoman Tinsey Eason, and I believe Councilperson Ross just walked in. It does my heart good to see that there are supporters here from the council for this event. A little bit about me. I was born and raised in the city of Newark. Oftentimes when you grow up in urban communities, you don't get the opportunity to see LGBTQ representation reflected. And when you do see LGBTQ representation reflected, it's oftentimes on a negative tone. But I actually made my mission as a kid growing up, knowing who I was, that I wanted to change that narrative. In every space and everywhere that I go, I always am authentically myself. If that's sitting around the conference table with our county executive, or serving 4 years of nursing administration in the Department of Education, I'm always thinking about what it means to LGBTQ folks to have representation in those halls. And oftentimes there aren't a lot of them. So oftentimes we're in trouble when you push back and say, no, we should think of politics, or we shouldn't have to. And for me, it's so fulfilling to do that. Sometimes I'm not the most popular person, but that's fine with me. I always say, my grandmother always told me, it is well with my soul when I'm able to speak up for what is right for people, regardless of whatever walks of life we come from. And we have a responsibility to speak truth to power. And when we don't do that, there are people who are part of numbers that are impacted severely. And it's so important that we do this work and we raise flags and we have festivals and things like that, because we are really living in scary times, specifically those who do not look like cisgender white males. And if you are a woman of color, a Hispanic person, your everyday way of living is constantly at attack. And I don't like to use this word where we're in culture war, but that's really what's happening. And unfortunately, in 2020, we had an elected official who basically waved the flag to say it's okay to challenge folks based off of their diversity. And doing things like this is pushing back against that and saying, no, we're not going to look at our diversity as being a liability, as an asset. And we're doing that. We're very lucky and fortunate to be here in New Jersey. But literally, folks need to realize that we're literally an election away from losing everything. You can get a governor that can come in and say, I don't think like the previous governor. And that's why now we're being very clever by using the law to protect diverse groups by codifying rights. We're making sure that, the court is affirming health care services for those who may be of whatever walks of life, but specifically same gender loving people. And literally right now, the reason why I say it's so scary, because you have a case that is being considered before the Supreme Court, 303 creatives. And whatever the outcome of that case will potentially determine if a business, not literally, can put up a straight-only sign when dealing and interacting, having business in their specific business with various individuals. But that case can literally greenlight discriminating against any type of people. So I don't want to bring the moment down, but I say we may be small in this room, but we're mighty. And it is the small, mighty groups of people that truly makes a difference in the world. And what's happening here in Orange, what echoes into East Orange, and what echoes into Newark, well, we're doing what is right here. We're not doing anything that is wrong. And if you don't remember anything I said, I always want to leave you with these words, that our diversity is our strength. Our diversity will be our constant, consistent voice together. And small and mighty, we remember the saying that it was David who slain the Goliath. Yeah. And that is where we are at this point in time. We may be minorly losing the battle, but in the end, when we're doing something that's right, we will eventually win. So in closing, again, I want to thank council members, Adrian Wooten, Jamie Summers Johnson, Council President Tinsley Eason, Councilman Ross for being here. Having leaders in rooms like this makes a difference, and it signals to people that your elected officials care about you. So in closing, thank you for the opportunity to be here. I appreciate you all. You have an advocate in me. You have an advocate in the county exec. You have an advocate in your county government. And you're right. So thank you again for the opportunity.
Council President is here. Would you like to come up and say something, and or Councilman Ross?
Good afternoon, everyone. And I'm glad the rain stopped. We were sitting outside because we thought everybody was going to be outside. So that's why I'm just getting here. I've been in my car here about me and Councilman Ross talking. They said, where is everybody? Didn't know you guys were upstairs. But I just want to say welcome and that we support you guys 100% in your endeavors and in your fight for rights for the LGBTQ community. And we're there for you. And I just want to tell, back even before you guys became LGBTQ, I had 2 people that adopted me as foster parents. So I've been involved in this movement. Not outwardly spoken, but in behind the scenes. My daughter, which she calls now, I went with her that journey through wanting to commit suicide, but she wanted to figure out where she was and who she was, and she didn't want that part to be part of her life. So I helped her through that, cried a lot, prayed a lot with her. She called me and said, I'm going to commit suicide. I'm going to drive my car because she was trying to escape who she really was and be what other people wanted her to be. But when she finally realized, and as I worked with her, and I kept saying I couldn't get her out of the depression, I kept saying, what am I going to do? What am I doing wrong? And one night, God came to me and said, told me exactly what. So the next day, she comes into my office. I was her supervisor at the time. And sometimes Dan brings tears to my eyes. And I said, I need to ask you something. I said, because I don't understand why you're so depressed. Why can't you get better? We offered you therapy. You didn't want therapy. And she was married at the time. And I said, I need to ask you something. She said, no, Miss, he said, don't ask me. I said, why? She said, because I know what you're going to say. I said, are you gay? She said, yes. She said, and I didn't want to come out. I didn't want to tell anybody because I thought you wouldn't love me anymore. So we got up and I hugged her and we cried together. And now she's a aspiring young woman. She lives in Atlanta, in Georgia. Calls me mom, texts me Mother's Day. And then I had a son who I nursed went through the journey of AIDS and he died at 30-something years old. You know, I still stay in touch with his boys and make sure they're okay and his ex-wife. But I didn't know what was wrong with him either. He was married with 2 kids. So sometimes people hide their feelings because they try to be what you want them to be instead of who they really are. And you need not be ashamed of who you are. And that's what I had to instill in them. You got to live your life for yourself. Be good to yourself. Love yourself. And we all love everybody. I love people. No matter who, I love people. You know, I don't care about the past. I just love people. And I like being. That's why I'm still working in a high school today. With all of those little kids. And you know, they all got their issues and trying to figure out who they are today and what they're going to do in the future and what they're going to become. But we still love them. So just remember that we love you. We'll be there for you. And if you need us, here we are. Okay?
Councilman Ross.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. I just want to say to the LGBTQ community that we, the City of Orange, welcome you, and we love you in this community. I'm going to say it again, we welcome and we love you. The City of Orange is such a diverse population of people, cultures, and backgrounds, and religions, and we all can learn from one another, teach one another, but most of all, we should love one another, okay? And we can all be separate, but the main thing is that we're all equal, okay? And we all should work together to be the common good for Orange, okay? We're all equal, okay? We can be separate, but we're equal, okay? But we love the community, we love the LGBTQ community, and we thank you for being here. Thank you very much.
So for me, we're gonna go raise the flag, but for me, since the court administrator, Mr. Moss, said that I'm gonna walk right over to her. I don't know your pronouns. See, I've learned
That we had a rock star.
I don't know your pronouns. I don't know.
Rock
But and I
Rock
don't know
star.
disrespect. But so I'm just gonna call you Rock Star. Would you please come up and say a few words to us? Thank you so much.
Well, my name is Tamara Chambers. I'm an assistant prosecutor for Essex County. I've been there for 20 years, since September. I work very closely with Mr. Moss because he's really the backbone of your city, whether you guys know it or not.
Yes.
But I've been a member of Essex County since I've been here. I'm originally from Alabama. I went to law school in Connecticut, clerked for a judge here, and I just stayed because New Jersey was always open, and I knew that I wasn't going to go home. I am the oldest of two pastors, so growing up in that, my parents always let me know that, they were preachers and that they were called, but as their children, that we weren't the ones that were called. So I have always had an open and welcoming relationship with family. Mr. Bledsoe has now become a member of that family because he's been, like you said, very open, very direct. He leads the charge, and we are appreciative of your leadership. I'm not here on behalf of the Essex County Prosecutor's Office, but just know that our doors are open, that if there are any issues that you all have, you're definitely open to reach out to us. But I thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me. But I, too, am a member of the community. I'm married with a 3-year-old, so you can imagine what that is like. And that ain't got nothing to do with no pronouns.
Right. That's fair.
He's a man. But I've always felt open in this community. Like I said, the state of New Jersey is leading the charge, and I'm appreciative of being here. Okay, thank you so much.
So before we go raise the flag, does anyone else have anything to say? We all good?
Well, I would like to say something. My name is Cherie, and I'm born and raised in the city of Orange. And I'm glad that you guys are taking the initiative to move forward to make the city of Orange a safe place. And as I've been speaking with Councilwoman Lewin on this, it's about the LGBTQ community, but it's about the whole community because they not only represent sexuality, they represent being proud of who you are no matter what you are. So I think we need to take that away, not only because we talk so much about pride and we pride it around sexuality. No, it's about loving you and what you stand for. And that's what I want to move forward to continue and to make Orange a safe space for everyone to be able to love you and to be able to be proud of what you stand for. Race, sex, gender, pronouns, it's all coming to the big circle of it. So that's why I'm so happy that this is happening. I'm coming off of a high from being with my Clear Pride, and that was just everything, 6 to 7 months of building that festival. You just have no choice to walk out of it in a whole different mind frame. For being my 2nd year, I have a husband, I have kids, but I also have love in my heart for everybody that's around me and that who's happy in their situation. So I take heed and thank you for coming forth and putting together and helping Orange become a safe space. We have so many kids here that wants to come out and be who they are, but they can't because they don't feel safe here. So I appreciate it from me, not living in the community, but always representing the community. And I want to continue to represent, and I want it to continue to move forward for everyone who is living in the city to feel like I feel at home. So,
Thank you. So Cherie is you're with her now?
Cherie owns a company called Treasures Hours Promotions, and she works with many organizations. But for the city of Orange, she works really close with the Hub. The Hub is, of course, a nonprofit organization organization that does a lot of community work within the city and surrounding communities. So I'm all into everything. Scheduling the hikes, so I want everybody out on my hikes. But
So we were talking, and we're gonna set a roundtable discussion,
and this is something also I was talking with Stephanie Posey about as well.
which I think is really gonna be cool, because Sheree mentioned that even if we put the round table on the lawn of the hub, and we just invite people who need to be at the table.